Good dub. Squad needed it. Played Fever way. I love it. More of them.
What if I told you the Indiana Fever just pulled off a victory that redefined their entire season, all without their undeniable superstar, Caitlin Clark, even touching the court? It was a night set for disaster, facing a Dallas Wings team hungry for an upset, fresh off a brutal loss, and with a crowd of 20,000 expecting to see Clark face Paige Bueckers for the very first time in the WNBA. Every single sign pointed to a complete meltdown. Instead, they witnessed something truly remarkable, something that will change how you see this Fever team forever.
Knowing that basketball is a game of runs, and they made their run in that third quarter, and honestly just continue to stay composed and take it each possession at a time is something that we've been working on. And so for us, that was our focus, is get a stop, go down and score, get another stop, and we try to get a kill.
And Aaliyah Boston's 6 words after the game? They perfectly captured why this win means absolutely everything.
We continue to get these leads, these 8-point leads, these 6-point leads, these 10-point leads, and we just let teams back in the game, and with bad shots, turnovers, whatever it is. So I think it's just, we kind of got over the hump there, and then we're able to grow our lead in the fourth quarter. They even cut it to 10 in the fourth quarter, and I thought we really responded well, and we're able to open it up for a pretty comfortable win.
The WNBA world had been buzzing for months. Clark versus Bueckers. The number 1 pick of 2024 against the presumed top pick of 2025. This wasn't just another regular season game. It was the matchup everyone had been waiting for since draft night. The Dallas Wings knew they had something special brewing, so they made a colossal decision. They moved the game from their usual home at the College Park Center to the massive American Airlines Center where the Mavericks play. Think about that for a second. You don't just move a game to a 20,000-seat arena unless you know something earth-shattering is about to happen. Fans started buying tickets like mad. The buzz was everywhere. Social media was going wild. This was going to be the showdown that shattered attendance records and showed the world just how far women's basketball had truly come.
Caitlin Clark will not be on the court tonight for the Indiana Fever. The team announced this morning that Clark has a groin injury and will not play against the LA Sparks. Clark's already missed a number of games this season. That's her first time missing action, dating all the way back to when she was in high school.
Then a gut punch. Just 2 nights before the game, Clark's groin injury flared up. The most hyped matchup of the season instantly became a giant question mark. Thousands of fans had bought tickets specifically to see these 2 phenoms go head-to-head, and now the main attraction might not even play. It was a crushing blow, not just for the fans, but for a Fever team that had just gotten absolutely destroyed by the Los Angeles Sparks the night before. Without Clark running the show, they looked completely lost. The pace was slow, ball movement was terrible, and Aliyah Boston barely touched the ball. Everything that makes Indiana dangerous simply fell apart when Clark wasn't on the court. Dallas was practically licking their chops. They knew exactly what happened when the Fever played without Clark. The offense became predictable, Boston got forgotten, and the whole system broke down. This looked like the perfect opportunity for the Wings to make a definitive statement against a wounded, struggling opponent.
Finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It really is a day-to-day thing, and I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So we just want to make sure that we're hypersensitive to the big picture.
But here's what nobody, not even the most cynical critics, expected. Even without Clark confirmed to play, an astonishing 20,049 people still showed up. That's right. They set a new Texas women's basketball attendance record without the main attraction even being guaranteed to step onto the court. Think about what that says about the sheer power of this rivalry and the explosive growth of women's basketball. As the game approached, Coach Stephanie White shocked everyone by starting Ari McDonald for the first time, completely changing the lineup that everyone expected. Nobody knew what to expect from this new look, but the stage was now set for either complete disaster or something absolutely magical.
Brian and Kelsey back with you on SportsCenter. $500,000 in an in-season championship on the line. Commissioner Cup final today in the WUC. No Caitlin Clark's out with a groin injury for the third straight game for the Fever as they take on the Minnesota Lynx. These two teams that have played in this the last couple seasons, they've gone on to play in the finals. Will we see that again this year? Well, we did see a battle. As you see, the Lynx come out early, start getting it done. That's Collier there inside off the glass.
The first quarter started, and something utterly incredible happened. The Fever didn't just survive without Clark on the court. They absolutely exploded right out of the gate. Ari McDonald brought an energy that nobody saw coming. She was pushing the pace like her life depended on it, getting everyone involved in ways that made you momentarily forget Clark wasn't even playing. Dallas walked into this game thinking they could just focus on shutting down Kelsey Mitchell. That was their entire game plan. Stop Mitchell and watch the Fever crumble. But suddenly they were dealing with McDonald's relentless downhill attack.
8-0 run, the Fever now on an 11-2 advantage. Miscommunication and stolen by McDonald, who races to the other end and finishes.
Well, if that doesn't get your engine going for Ari McDonald, you force the timeout off your defense.
A weapon they had never prepared for. She was creating pure chaos for the Wings' defense, opening up lanes that hadn't existed all season long. What made this even more amazing? McDonald went perfect from the field in that first quarter. She wasn't just throwing up shots, she was making smart plays that created opportunities for everyone else. The Fever started the game by making their first 7 shots in a row. 7 straight makes to open the game. You simply don't see that kind of execution very often. Aaliyah Boston finally started getting the touches she desperately needed. You could actually see her confidence building with every single possession as she got the ball in positions where she could do serious damage. The Wings had to respect McDonald's speed, which meant Boston had more room to operate down low. She scored efficiently and grabbed rebounds like she'd been waiting for this moment all season. The crowd that came to see Clark face Bueckers was witnessing something entirely different. They were watching a team discover what they could be when everyone stepped up together. This wasn't about one player carrying the load. It was about 5 players moving as one unit. By the end of that first quarter, Indiana led 33-13. Let that sink in for a second. They outscored Dallas by 20 points in 12 minutes. Even the Dallas fans were standing up and applauding the basketball they were seeing. You don't often see that kind of respect from opposing fans.
I think her impact, you see it, even just looking at the plus minus, like plus 26, like Ari's impact, whether it's scoring, but it's defending, it's getting us into offense, it's making the right reads, making the right pass. I think she's just been the perfect missing piece for us.
Kelsey Mitchell started heating up during this stretch, but she wasn't forcing anything. The ball movement was creating easy looks for everyone on the court. Mitchell scored 10 points in the first quarter alone, but she was doing it within the flow of the offense. This wasn't just about replacing Clark's production on the scoreboard. This was about the Fever discovering what this team could truly become when everyone stepped up together. The foundation was set for something special, but the real test was still ahead of them. This is where the story gets really good. Dallas started clawing back hard, and suddenly that comfortable lead began shrinking fast. The Wings figured out how to attack the Fever's defense. They started making shots they were missing in the first quarter, and you could feel the momentum shifting in a way that made every Fever fan nervous. Paige Bueckers began putting on an absolute show. She scored 27 points and made WNBA history with a perfect stat line that had everyone's jaws dropping. Bueckers became the first player ever to record 25 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 0 turnovers in a single game. That's the kind of performance that wins games and changes careers.
We were disruptive. We didn't allow them to just move the ball like they want to move the ball. We made it passes difficult. When you do that, it disrupts timing too, and that was one of our goals. We made them take tough shots. We secured the defensive board. I thought our activity level was really good. I thought our communication was elite. Our execution was probably as good for 3 quarters as it's been all year. That's gotta travel. That's gotta be the standard for us.
The Wings cut the lead to single digits. You could feel that familiar panic setting in around the arena. This was exactly where the Fever usually fell apart without Clark on the court. The pace would slow down, the ball would stop moving, players would start pressing and making bad decisions. Everything that went wrong against the Sparks the night before started creeping back into the game, but Kelsey Mitchell refused to let this slip away. She went into complete takeover mode with shots that would make Clark proud. Mitchell dropped 32 points with 7 assists, making 11 of 17 shots from the field. More importantly, she was making the right play every single time down the court. She wasn't forcing bad shots. She was creating opportunities for her teammates while taking complete control of the offense. Aaliyah Boston stepped up huge in the clutch moments. She made defensive stops when they absolutely had to have them. She grabbed rebounds that kept possessions alive. Boston finished with 21 points on 9 of 14 shooting, hitting all 3 of her free throws. She was doing all the little things that championship teams need from their big players. The crowd was going absolutely wild. They were watching two teams refuse to back down, both sides trading big shots like a heavyweight fight. Neither team wanted to give an inch. The energy in that arena was electric in a way that only happens during truly special games. With minutes left, Boston looked at the crowd of Fever fans scattered throughout the arena. You could see something click in her eyes. This is what she would later explain about every game feeling like a home game. Those Fever jerseys were everywhere, creating an energy that travels with this team. Mitchell and Boston combined for the final push that sealed the 94-86 victory. They proved this team has championship-level heart when it matters most. The fourth quarter belonged to Mitchell, who took control and made every play the Fever needed to close out the win. After the game, Aaliyah Boston walked up to the microphone and delivered 6 words that perfectly summed up what had just happened. Reporters were asking about playing without Clark, about the pressure, trying to figure out how the Fever pulled off this incredible win against a Dallas team that had every reason to believe they would cruise to victory. Boston looked right into the camera and said, "Every game is a home game." Those 6 words hit different. Suddenly, everything made sense about what happened in that arena. The energy, the confidence, the way this team played like they belonged on that stage. She explained how Fever fans travel everywhere they go, how they create that energy no matter what arena they're playing in. You could see it during the game. Those Fever jerseys scattered throughout the crowd, the cheers that got louder every time Indiana made a big play, the standing ovations that came from sections filled with fans who traveled from Indiana just to support their team. This wasn't just about winning without Clark on the court. This was about proving that the connection between this team and their fans goes deeper than any one player. Boston talked about how fans might come to see Clark initially, but they leave loving the whole team. That's exactly what happened with those 20,049 people who showed up. They came expecting to see Clark face Bueckers for the first time. Instead, they witnessed something even more special than the matchup they originally came to see. They watched a team discover its identity. They saw players step up when their star needed them most. They experienced the kind of basketball that creates lifelong fans. Kelsey Mitchell echoed this sentiment during her own interview, talking about how the team's confidence grows when they see those Fever jerseys in the stands. Mitchell mentioned that the team's ability to get downhill and create opportunities becomes easier because of that support. It creates this positive feedback loop where the fans energize the players, and the players give the fans something to cheer about. These 6 words became the rallying cry that showed this team's identity goes far beyond their superstar. It's about family. It's about a connection that can't be broken by injuries or tough losses. It's about fans who believe in something bigger than just one player. Boston's words captured something powerful about what this franchise has become. When your fans travel everywhere and create that home court advantage wherever you play, you've built something special that goes beyond wins and losses.